Welcome, welcome everybody. How are you doing today? It's so very nice to have you here. The question that we want to ask ourselves in the moment is, what is it that we really want? Do we in the moment want truth for the sake of truth alone? Or do we want something else? And something else can mean a lot of things. I want to feel better. I want my life to improve. I want my circumstances to change, and so on and so on and so on. And of course, life can improve and circumstances can change, right? But it's not the question in a moment. Because when I say suffering is a choice, and that's a statement that can be difficult to hear sometimes, especially when there's a lot of trauma past. That's why I add this note, suffering is a choice, but not the way you think. Because we don't really have a choice about what arises. We don't have a choice about the experiences that are present. We don't have a choice about the circumstances that we find ourselves in. That's often where the misunderstanding is, when we have reactivity towards the statement, suffering is a choice, but not the way you think, is because we misunderstand it. We think, oh, I chose this, I am doing this, I am choosing to be in these difficult circumstances. We could talk about how these circumstances came to be, but that's in a very, very different, in a much deeper way. But in a moment, we don't have a choice about what arises. We do have a choice, however. We do have a choice, however, how we are going to be here, or are we going to be here? Are we going to choose to be present to what arises? Pain is not a choice. Difficult circumstances are not a choice. Challenges in your life are not a choice. But the way you are present to what arises. And that's a very selfless choice. That's a choice for truth, for the sake of truth alone. That's a choice in which there is an incredible amount of surrender to simply say, let me just be here. Let me be here and see what happens. Let me see what happens when I let myself be present to what is. So this is an open invitation. And I'm very curious about what that is like in your life. And if you would like to share in comments, I invite you to do that, and also to subscribe and share and comment again, which really helps us. It helps this algorithm to make these videos more available for everybody that could benefit from that.